Sheesh, my phone is really on its last leg at this point, man. My battery dies before it's even lunchtime, and I really think it's just on its last leg at this point.
Well, yeah, that stinks.
But hey, Apple just dropped their iPhone 16e. It's got the latest design, it's got Face ID, it's got Dynamic Island, USB-C.
Wait. You're upgrading? Because I'm thinking about upgrading too. My phone's like 4 years old now at this point with a 12 mini.
Wait, why would you upgrade if you already have what you have?
Because it's Apple's latest iPhone?
Dude, my phone looked like it came out of a time machine from 2016. I mean, look at this thing. You already have the way bigger display, the 2 cameras, Face ID.
But battery isn't what it used to be. I always have to use these MagSafe chargers. And I don't have the latest chip, or USB-C, or Apple Intelligence, so I think I'm due for an upgrade.
Oh, you mean MagSafe, the accessory that the iPhone 16e, their new phone, doesn't have for some reason?
Wait a second, the 16e doesn't have MagSafe?
Nope. You'd also just be downgrading to 1 camera. Yeah, it's a 48 megapixel shooter, but it's not even the main sensor that you get with the newer iPhones.
Wait, and it only has 1 camera? Really?
Yeah, so I start to wonder, why would you be considering upgrading when your phone might be even better than the 16e right now?
I mean, it is Apple's latest iPhone, and I'm sure my carrier has one of those zero money down kind of things to get it for free.
So who is the iPhone 16e actually for then? So everybody, as you can see right here, we finally got the iPhone 16e in hand in that black colorway. It does come in 2 different colors, and as I was talking about earlier in this video, we're going to figure out who this iPhone 16e is for, because it's kind of in this weird middle ground where it has a good amount of features as some of the flagship iPhones, but the price point isn't as cheap as what we originally thought. So let's unbox it first and then start talking about that. So again, I got the base model, so this is $599. I believe it was like $640 with tax and title and everything that came with it. And what's crazy about it is because of Apple's pricing structure for the storage, I believe you can spend up to $900 on this iPhone 16e, which is very interesting. So let's crack this open and see if we get any surprises in the box that maybe we weren't supposed to get before. Maybe some stickers are coming back, something along those lines, but let's open this up. And then here we have it. We're gonna see what else is in the packaging first before we fully kind of unbox this thing. But you see that we just have the USB-C cable, and that's literally it. We have some paperwork back here if we pull this out, and that's all that you get in the packaging. So again, you pay more, you get less essentially. I still can't believe Apple got rid of the stickers, man. That's one of the things that I absolutely loved, and I've been saving those for years. But let's put the box to the side and look at this iPhone here. So this might be a hot take, but I actually really like this minimal look on the rear of the iPhone because you still have that frosted glass on the back, so it looks like it has a nice matte finish. It's gonna, fight against fingerprints very nicely. And yes, I know that it has 1 camera bump, but something about this singular camera bump makes it kind of give this minimal look, and I kind of like it better than the double camera layout or even the triple camera layout. Something about this minimal phone that really kind of has been drawing me to it. But let's open this up and turn this guy on. And the experience is going to be very similar to anybody that's come from an iPhone. So we're going to open this up and get it set up real quick. But as it starts to get set up, I do want to show off the actual sides of it and the overall profile and what this looks like. So you do get the action button right here, you get your volume rockers. On the top of it, it looks very normal. On this side, you do get the lock button, but again, no camera control button on this side because they did omit that. On the bottom, you have your speaker grills as well as the USB-C port, which is a welcome addition, but we are dealing with USB 2.0 speed, so about 480 megabytes per second or Mbps. So it'll still transfer data via USB-C and be able to use USB-C dongles, but again, it's not going to be as fast as the Pro models. So I did want to bring this iPhone 16 over here to kind of give you a comparison of size and everything that you kind of deal with when it comes to it. So the first thing that I'm going to notice when you do have these two side by side is that, of course, the iPhone 16 wobbles, and because there's only 1 camera and the profile of that camera is so thin, there's actually very little wobble on this phone. Like this one, if you go over here, it won't wobble. If you do, this one wobbles way more. This one a little bit if you kind of push it on the left, but the wobble is substantially less. If that's important to you, then that's a nice little difference. And then if you really kind of hold these together, you can see that there's a couple of differences. It feels like the iPhone 16e is a bit more squared off, very similar to how the older iPhones used to be. So the iPhone 13, 14, and iPhone 12, before they went off to that more rounded off, where it was still squared off, but a little bit more rounded off, this one just feels a tad more squared off. Again, nothing functionally different, just something to take into consideration from a differences standpoint. And like I mentioned earlier, you can see that the bezels on the iPhone 16 are smaller than the bezels on this iPhone 16e, so just some differences to take into consideration. But overall, those are the main differences. Of course, on the side here, you still both have action buttons. On this side, you have the camera control on the iPhone 16 versus no camera control on the iPhone 16e. Both have the same type of USB-C port, both have a 48 megapixel camera, but the 48 megapixel shooter is a much smaller sensor on this iPhone 16e than the iPhone 16, so the pictures should be a little bit better still. Even though they're 48 megapixels, they should be better on the regular 16 than the 16e. And then one of the final differences I wanted to bring up is going to be the display and the brightness. You do have an OLED display on the left-hand side with the 16e versus that LCD display on the 16 regular, but this LCD is going to be brighter, which doesn't really come out in this image right here or in the video because we are indoors, but when you are outdoors, you do see a little bit of a difference immediately with this iPhone 16e. But again, if you're coming from an iPhone SE3 or an older iPhone, maybe 12, 13, then you really won't notice a difference. So at the end of the day, who is this iPhone 16e for? And I actually asked an Apple employee because I was curious to know how they were trained to actually show off this phone or talk about it or sell it to who, like what type of customer they're trying to sell this to. Of course, if you're coming from an iPhone SE3, then this is going to be a great upgrade, both from a design standpoint, functionality-wise, internally, Apple Intelligence-wise. You have the A18 chip, USB-C. It's going to be night and day a different phone. Now, you will be paying for it because it does start at $599 compared to $429, but at the end of the day, this isn't really a new iPhone SE. This is just a cheaper iPhone 16. So the other angle that they're taking is if you have an iPhone 14 or older, they're going to recommend this phone first, because it gives you pretty much everything that you would want out of a modern iPhone, aside from a couple little things that they remove, like the camera control, as well as MagSafe, and the multiple cameras, so you do lose things like cinematic mode and macro mode, but at the end of the day, not a lot of people are using that, and Apple has the data to back that up. Now, whether or not I agree with those statements is a little bit different, because I, for one, love MagSafe, and I use that a lot. In macro mode, I use it on occasion. Cinematic mode, I use on occasion. But again, I'm a power iPhone user, and this is not for those people. This is going to be for those people that walk into a Verizon or a T-Mobile or a carrier store and want the cheapest iPhone that's going to be free or zero down, and this is what's going to be offered. But one awesome thing about the iPhone 16e, or something that's going to foreshadow and kind of be a testing ground, is that this is going to be the first iPhone that has the new C1 chip, meaning that this is Apple's in-house 5G modem, the one that they built from the ground up. They are no longer using Qualcomm chips, at least not in this one. And I think that's a smart move because I went to the Apple store this morning at 8 a.m. right as it opened, and nobody was in line to get this thing. So in the beginning, this is not going to sell a lot. So if there are some issues with the C1 chip, then it would make sense that Apple can kind of tinker with it, send out an over-the-air software update, and then be able to fix whatever issues they're having. But ideally, the consumer will not realize the difference. You should be getting the normal 5G speeds that you would, although there is no millimeter wave, which is something to consider. But overall, the experience should be one-to-one when you compare it to the Qualcomm chip. One thing that this is gonna give us right away is more battery life. This gives us about 26 hours of video playback time, which is Apple's unit of measure, versus 22 hours on the regular 16. So the battery will be better overall compared to the newer iPhones. And then another thing that you are missing along the MagSafe and the cameras and things like that and camera control is that it does not have those proximity sensors, meaning that that kind of UI and user experience that you get when you're looking for an AirTag or looking for your AirPods or even looking for your iPhone using another iPhone, that will not be possible on this iPhone, which is a shame because I think that's an amazing feature to have, especially if you lose something like your AirPods Pro. Now, I did mention that this does not have MagSafe, but it does have Qi charging, so it does charge at 7.5 watts wirelessly. But I did want to test it out with my Kyuxu K1, which is a MagSafe battery pack that I've been absolutely in love with, and you guys should know because I made a video about it. But it's one of the few MagSafe battery packs, or probably the only one, that'll show up in your battery widget. So here's the 16, automatically connects, it should pop up and start charging, and you can see that it shows up in the battery widget right away. So it allows us to see how much battery is left in this battery pack. Now I'm curious to know how this is going to work on here. Will it show up in a battery widget? Will you get the same animation? Let's find out. So here I pulled up the battery widget. We have this, which I'm going to turn on right now. So you can see the battery indicators are on, and if I put this on the back, again, there's nothing to line it up with. So it does charge, as you can see, but of course, it's not going to have the MagSafe animation. It's not going to show up in the battery widget because, again, there is no MagSafe on here, which, again, is kind of sad because now you got to deal with whether you're going to place it correctly or not, where it's going to go. It could get hotter. So there's going to be a bunch of case manufacturers, and I'll link some down below if you guys want to check them out, that already add the MagSafe magnets to at least line you up nicely to avoid all that heat dissipation, because the farther off you are from those magnets and the actual Qi charging coil, it's going to mess with heat. And I do want to show off those magnets. So here I have one of those magnet papers, and you can see that you have the MagSafe kind of magnets right there. You can really tell in the light. So you can see the MagSafe circle right there on this 16. And then if I go here, of course, there are no magnets to really show off because, again, there is no MagSafe magnet in the rear. Overall, the iPhone 16e It's kind of up in the air as to who this iPhone is for, and I can't really even tell you who it's for. Maybe for the iPhone SE3 user that wants to upgrade their iPhone SE3 to the newest, cheaper iPhone, but again, you're gonna be spending more money, or it's for maybe somebody coming from an iPhone 12 or 13, but again, for $600, maybe you're still gonna wanna go up the price ladder a little bit because you're like, oh, might as well spend another $200 because I get another camera, I get camera control, I get everything that comes with that. So overall, it's a little interesting to see where this iPhone 6e will land, but I think it's going to be a long-tail iPhone because it will be the free iPhone that everybody's going to get with their carriers. But let me know in the comment down below what you think. Is this an iPhone that you're going to want to pick up? Who do you think this is for? Which iPhone are you coming from that would warrant picking this one up over something like a regular 16? Let me know in the comment down below, but if you want to watch more videos like this one, definitely check out one of these videos right here. And until next time, everybody, I'm Fernando. Peace.